Taurus, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early June 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Taurus collective in early June. My God, Spirit Team, talk to me. What do we got for Taurus here? What energies, messages, insights, all that good stuff? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean in on, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Taurus here in early June. Please and thank you. We are officially in Gemini season. It's a beautiful time of year. Your birthday passed recently. So what do we got here? Thank you. Beautiful. A lot of you could really have a future focus here when we have the Little Mermaid showing up. Our good friend Ariel paying you guys a visit. And this is one of my favorite cards in this Oracle deck. First off, because it's absolutely gorgeous. It is like, yeah, I'm moving forward and a forward-facing type of energy, but also there's a lot of creativity and thought action as well. But before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the June subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk about our good pal Ariel. Now, whenever this card shows up, I mean, you've all seen the movie, I'm sure, at least 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times. And I think we all have, right? It's a classic. And when I see this card, I think of similar archetypes where this is someone where like, yeah, they might be content, they might be happy, but there's still more they want to do. There's more they want to accomplish. There's somewhere else that they would rather be. And that's a big thing with this card. That's why I say, like, when this shows up, it's like, okay, my eyes are to the horizon. My eyes are on the future and where I'm headed, which is I know a lot of conventional spirituality says like, oh, you need to just live in the present. But I mean, it is logical to think about your next steps and plan for the future, right? Things don't always go according to plan. But when this card shows up, the Little Mermaid, aside from all the things we were already talking about, notice her head is in the clouds. So it could represent a little daydreaming, a lot of thinking going on. It doesn't necessarily feel rough to me or anything like that. But I do feel like someone wanting to move forward with something. So we're just going to put her down right there for now. Let's see what shows up in tarot. And I always say the first card here doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. Let's get you 3 cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. So what do we got here for Taurus, please? My guides. And yeah, we'll shuffle it up. And while we get the cards ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was centered around communication, and that was a big thing for all the earth signs last week. Your reading was titled, They Want to Talk. So whether this was someone that wanted to hear from you, wanted to have a conversation with you, maybe there's someone specifically you wanted to talk to as well. I mean, it could go either way. But there was some sort of importance being placed around communication. So I'm interested to see if that still shows up this week. You know, energies could bleed over. But yeah, let's see what other messages we have for you this week. Energies are very fluid. They're never set in stone. So only take them how it hits for you. Because we could be seeing your vibe. We could be seeing somebody else's. It could go any which way. So let's get 3 cards out here for my Taurus friends to start us off. Early June energies, please. Messages, insights. What do we got? Yeah, so the communication, just as I say it. And you guys saw me doing my little shuffle dance over here. The 8 of Wands, which could be a big card of action moving forward, but also communication. A lot of the things that we seem to be chatting about already encapsulated within one card. So let's see what else we have. The energy is moving. We are starting with a bang. It is moving forward. More fire. Beautiful. So we have the 4 of Wands. I like this combination. And I don't want to get too over the top or too excited just yet, but this could be a really, really nice combination. Let's get one more out here. All fire. All fire energy. I mean, literally all fire. There is our good pal here, the King of Wands himself, overseeing the rest of the wand suit. Okay, Taurus. I can't wait to really unpack this whole reading. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, and we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. So at first glance, I'm looking down here. I know I was making a little commentary here and there, but as I'm sure you can already see, all wands. Now, wands represent fire. So whether it's fire sign individuals around you, fire sign placements within yourself, or it could just be your internal combustion, because when we talk about what each suit means, Fire could be very, very good for action and moving things forward. It's great for motivation. It's great for passion. But at the same time, fire can be a little unpredictable. It could be explosive. It could be things that pick up real quick, like go from 0 to 100. Now, this could be very positive, depending on how the energy is channeled. And that's why I think it's important that we have this King of Wands here on the back end, because he tries to channel this energy properly. So let's go through piece by piece and really start to build this one out for you, because even though it's all one element, I feel like there's going to be a lot of nuance here. So position number one, we have the Eight of Wands. Depicted on this card, you see 8 wands or arrows. They kind of look like arrows just cutting through the sky. It's one of the fastest moving cards in the whole entire deck. So whether this, I mean, a lot of people say this is a card of communication, which it is. It is a card of talking, sending messages backs and forths, where there's like a lot of communication bouncing around. So we're still seeing that importance around talking and messages literally when this card is here. If we are not talking about that, this could just be action, forward movement, the energy progressing forward. So when I see that forward facing type of energy and I pick this up, it's like, yeah, there's action, there's energy supporting moving forward with something. So it's really nice and action oriented. Where's the challenge though? The fact that it's so fast that it goes from 0 to 100, it could be very explosive, very unpredictable and surprising, where it's like startling, where something like picks up so much steam so quick. It's like kind of like, oh, okay, wasn't ready for all that. Like that really escalated rather quickly. That's kind of the rough side of this Eight of Wands. And if we're talking about communication, it could be a communication that gets out of hand too. But moving to the center is where the energy does start to mellow out, which is kind of giving me clues that this energy is under control and could be moving in a good place. We have the Four of Wands, the 1111 card, one of my favorites in the deck. And when I see the Four of Wands, I always say, watch out for signs, synchronicities, and omens, especially number signs, and spirit trying to have a chat with you, trying to guide you, or trying to reach out to you in one way or another. This is highly, highly spiritual. But what else can we think about with the Four of Wands? Even though it's fire, it's more grounded. So whereas this one's in action, this one is very grounded. It's very secure. This could represent celebrations, get-togethers, parties, and being social. That's a big thing. It could represent the home, the family. For some connections and relationships, it could represent marriage or a marriage partner, someone that's been in your life for a long time. So once again, very, very expansive in its meaning. So you just pick what it means to you. For some of you, it could just be a spiritual message showing up here as well. But it's celebratory. It's happy. So when I see the Eight of Wands moving into the Four of Wands, it's like, okay, I'm moving in a good direction. I'm feeling stable. I'm feeling solid. This is nice. Like it feels good, even though it's like happening quickly. Now onto the back end, we have our good pal, the King of Wands himself. So a portion of you, like once again, you might be connected to a fire sign. You might have fire sign placements yourself. Remember, it's not gender specific. We have Aries, Leo, Sag showing up. And I always say with kings, they represent control of the suit they're in. So all the things I mentioned about the fire, the King of Wands keeps that under control, keeps them in check. This king is entrepreneurial, also action oriented, and is about making proper moves and taking proper action. His challenge is sometimes this energy could represent someone with a bit of a temper, a hothead, someone that does things that you don't see coming. That's where the challenge is with this King of Wands. But if it doesn't represent a person, it's like, okay, I'm going to keep this under control. I'm going to keep this moving right. Could also represent an authority figure of some kind. But I feel somebody saying like, no, I got this. I mean, I got this. I'm moving in the right way. I could keep it under control. So I want to dive deeper on all of it, Taurus. Let's jump in and clarify. Let's get a good shuffle here for you, my friends. Let's see what's happening. Guides and spirit team. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot. Because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Eight of Wands. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Taurus, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, Eight of Wands time. What's this fast moving energy about? Why is it here for my good friends? What's happening? Thank you. Okay. So we do have the Three of Cups in reverse. Oh, and I got something very, very similar in the Gemini reading. Watch out for people being gossipy, right? This only showed up in Gemini's reading and now it's showing up in yours. And I haven't had a message about gossip in a very, very long time. But with the communication and the Three of Cups in reverse, like there is something here about gossip. So hopefully there's not somebody like gossiping about you, or maybe you're gossiping about somebody else, who knows really. But another thing I could watch out, or would say watch out for, is don't get dragged into other people's issues in this time, because with the communication and the action here and the Three of Cups in reverse, it could be possible that someone tries to pull you into an issue that might not be yours. So I would watch out for this situation, okay? Because in this time, it's a slight warning that you might get pulled into a situation or a problem that's not even really yours, okay? Or it's like you didn't have much in the way of contributing to this. Like that's a big vibe. So even if you are having an issue with somebody else, to me, kind of feel, and I don't like placing blame or anything like that, but I don't feel like you really contributed a lot to this in a negative way. So we're going to have to look at this deeper as we move throughout the reading. Very peculiar message here. I'm not a huge fan of how this feels, but I want to keep moving over. Once again, this is celebratory, so we also have something here about like enjoying yourself and partying. Let's see. Let's keep moving over to that Four of Wands. It feels very gossipy. So what's going on with that Four of Wands, please? Now I really want to get over to the King as well. What's that Four of Wands here? Thank you. I mean, this is really, really positive. Okay. I love this energy, and it feels like it's completely separate. Okay, now it's starting to make sense, because this right here feels way separate than what I'm picking up here on the back end. Karmic, spiritual, universal energy. You have the Wheel of Fortune in the upright underneath the Four of Wands. Very expansive. My friends, you have a massive win incoming in some area of life. Now, there is something that's going to be worth celebrating here. And Spirit could be saying like, oh, well, yeah, maybe you'll get some news where you think like, oh, is this going to happen? Like, I feel before this win comes in, before this victory comes in, a lot of you might think it won't. So to me, it's kind of like the universe gives you a little fake out where it's like, oh no, well, maybe not, but here you go. There's your win. So just know, like, for certain situations you're going through, it could devolve a little bit before it gets better. It gets worse before it gets better. But there is this massive energy of coming out on top and winning something here with this Wheel of Fortune. Now, this is also a karmic card, so that's something we need to keep in mind throughout the rest of the reading as well, with the Four of Wands, spiritual, the Wheel of Fortune, very spiritual, but it's also sudden. So another big thing I'm seeing here is like we have the fire energy, we have this, now we have the Wheel of Fortune. There's all very fast, sudden, explosive types of energy. So this win or victory could come in an explosive fashion. But once again, I feel like for a lot of you, you need to know before this explosive win comes in, it's like, all right, it's going to get a little worse before it gets better, or it's going to go on a downturn, then it's going to pop back up. That's just like the best way it feels to me. So we're going to keep moving forward. But when it starts going up, it's going to go. Like this feels really positive, and it happens really, really quick. So let's see what that King of Wands has to say. Then we'll do a recap before we get into the shadow card. So why is that King of Wands here? Oh, now it's being very particular. There we go. Knight of Wands. Very good. Pace yourself with something. That's another vibe here. And I do feel like if any sign is good at pacing themselves, whether it's things in the workplace, whether it's things in interpersonal relationships, whether it's life in general, the King of Wands with the Knight of Wands in reverse, it's like, okay, no, I'm keeping this in check. I got this. So for a lot of you, either there's something that you need to pace yourself with, or you're purposely imposing limits on yourself in one way. Now, it doesn't feel like in a bad way. It doesn't feel like self-limiting beliefs, but it's like, well, I'm going to allow myself this twice a day, or I'm going to allow myself this once a week. I feel like somebody's just trying to keep something managed, keep something in check. And if that is something, if that resonates, if that's the case, whether it's a relationship, health, you name it, if you're doing that, you're on the right track. I feel like I need to give some people that message. Very peculiar messages this week, Taurus. But the Knight of Wands, again, is a card of action, and it's moving forward, very fiery, very fast. So although this energy is very explosive and fast moving, remember what the King does. He keeps it all under control. So when I see this Knight of Wands in reverse, it's like, no, I'm not going to let this get out of hand. So for a lot of you, if you see something concerning, I feel like you could nip something before it gets to a place of being a big concern. That's another thing. So like if you identify an issue or a problem, like you could really nip it early on to like take care of it before it gets worse. I mean, take these messages for whatever they're worth, Taurus. Like, there's lots of random messages coming through for you this week. Let's go through and do a quick recap, and we'll get into the shadow card. But position number one, couple of intriguing things here. Eight of Wands with that Three of Cups in reverse. I did say it felt like a little gossipy, so hopefully there's not someone gossiping about you with all the talking I saw last week. For another portion of you, yeah, there is this forward movement type of action. Don't get dragged into other people's business or drama. Like there might be someone trying to pull you into a situation that's not yours. And even if it isn't like a weird third party thing, I feel for a big chunk of you, if there is a problem or something that arises in this time, like you didn't do much to contribute to making it worse. Moving to the center, we have the Four of Wands with the Wheel of Fortune. Boom. There's that explosive win. And I did say for a lot of you, something is going to get a little worse before it gets much, much better. So whether it's like a work thing, life in general, I feel like there's a dip, and then boom, it just like shoots right back up. So this is beautiful, explosive win energy. I love it. And it happens real quick. On to the back end, we have the King of Wands with the Knight of Wands in reverse. So keeping something in check, keeping something under control. So whether you're like imposing limits on yourself in one way, or this could be you catching an issue or a problem when it's early on and just nipping it real quick. So take those for what they're worth this week, Taurus. Please take a screenshot of that. Maybe it's advice, who knows. Let's see what's in the shadows for you. And let's shuffle it up one time. What do we got for Taurus here? Guided Spirit Team. And yes, I always like to pull one of these at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. And so let's get it going. Oh, and yes, if you've made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. I really do. Okay, shadow card time. Let's see what we got. For my beautiful Taurus friends, what do they need to know about? What is in the shadows? Quick. Two Cups. Okay, so there could be something here around a connection or a relationship dynamic. And remember, a shadow card does not always have to be a challenge. For a portion of you, this could be someone that you're still holding on to from the past, or this could just be something in regards to concerns for someone you care for quite deeply. And I feel for a good chunk of you, when I see this Two Cups in the shadows, you might have concern for somebody, whether it's their well-being or just a concern in general. Like, okay, well, I'm not going to show it, I'm not going to say nothing, but I am concerned about this person. Okay, even though those seahorses are kissing, that could be friends, family, it doesn't always have to be romantic. Now, for a portion of you, if it is something romantic, because it definitely can be, when this shows up in the shadows, this is somebody's energy still attached to you. Okay, or whether you're holding on to it or they're holding on and they're both holding on, this is someone's energy still with you in one way or another. And you could take that however it hits. It doesn't necessarily feel rough to me, okay, but it's there. Okay, so watch out for things in that realm. But yeah, Taurus, that's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the June subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, my digital calendar is open on mastermetaphysics.com, so go ahead and check that out. And if you got your name in for the May subscriber surprise, the winners will be announced after this weekend's readings. But for the June subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 2 copies of one of my favorite decks, the Gilded Tarot Royale. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments if you could snap your fingers and visit anywhere in the world right now. Where would it be? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.